Sometimes the biggest impact is made in the smallest places. It is made with love and grown with time. It takes vision and dedication to serve an entire community. Since 1947, that is exactly what has happened here in our beloved Kansas City. Under the leadership of Shazi Branton, Jane Dick, Jeanette Lunow, and others, the Cerebral Palsy Nursery School was created.
Well, my mother felt strongly that if there was a need, fill it. And she saw a need to create a school for children with cerebral palsy.
They hadn't been in a preschool program. They hadn't been in a kindergarten. They didn't know how to socialize with each other or with their teachers. And she started thinking there needs to be a program for these kids. So she started one.
At the same time, servicemen returning home from World War II created an overwhelming need for rehabilitation from the damages of war. And when the need is great, the ideas need to be greater. So Vivian Shepard opened the doors of the Rehabilitation Institute of Kansas City.
Vivian had had a bachelor's and a master's degree in education, so she was trained as a teacher, but she had an outstanding compassion for individuals with disabilities. At the same time, there was a coalition of different community members and philanthropists in the city who did a survey to see if there was a need for services for individuals with disabilities, and there was. She started in a loft over a tire shop with herself, a sheltered workshop, and a PT and OT, and a budget of $23,000.
The Rehabilitation Institute of Kansas City grew quickly, and the initial capital was put to work.
Meanwhile, the Cerebral Palsy Nursery School had new opportunities to impact lives. The name changed, and so too did the offerings. Programs were designed to help people overcome incredible odds and achieve a better future. Children with language, speech, hearing, intellectual, and physical disabilities suddenly had a world of opportunity emerge. Everyone was welcome.
Differences in socioeconomic status, ethnicity, religion, it was just never of any importance. They were saying, let's get this done. It doesn't matter who needs it. It just doesn't matter.
At some level, the community has to realize that we actually decrease some of the financial burden that can occur in a community. We're returning valued individuals back into the life of the community to participate fully.
In 1969, the Rehabilitation Institute of Kansas City opened a new building at 31st and Main that had a unique, barrier-free design. Pediatric services were added to help the many children debilitated by polio. It was also the first facility in the region to receive CARF accreditation.
Between 1947 and today, thousands of lives have been changed. The Therapeutic preschool became a professional division of Children's Mercy Hospital Pediatrics Department. The United Way campaign drove support to continue the empowering work. At this time, enrollment had grown to 160 children. The years passed, and many people worked tirelessly to ensure 160 lives would be forever changed.
The families are going through a tremendous amount of pressure, trying to understand what they're dealing with and how they can be the best parent that they could be for their child.
You really need a variety of approaches and, of course, very highly trained staff members who are professionals and deeply committed to their clients.
You see people who, when they came to the Institute, were unable to take care of themselves at all. And by the time they have finished their program, I always am very impressed with the work that's being done.
What mostly amazes me is the human spirit is in full display in a rehab gym. It's the hardest work you'll ever do.
In the early 80s, our community continued to step up. Hunt Midwest hosted the first Groundhog Run, a turning point for fundraising in our organization.
It was a huge success from the beginning, and it's grown thanks to a wonderful and generous community and the generosity of the Hunt Midwest and the many sponsors that support the organization.
And that is one of their very favorite memories for each of our kids, is to have that picture in the groundhog suit.
The city began to take notice. Hallmark led the way by donating land and money for the Children's Center campus. Their generosity created the campus from the ground up.
I remember Mom coming back from volunteering at the preschool and just saying how wonderful it was. And I'd say, Mom, isn't it sad? And she goes, oh no. She goes, it is so amazing to get to work with kids who are discovering new things every day with great delight and optimism and enthusiasm and lots of giggles.
I consider this to be the heart of the city, and for families, particularly families who are on, limited incomes or have to rely on buses and things of that sort, I think it's important to meet the needs of most of these families.
Our organization has continued to create partnerships with the Kansas City community and business leaders.
Everybody has things that can limit them. We all are trying to use our best abilities to move beyond that to get the highest quality of life.
70 years later, and we're still changing lives by providing a continuum of care to children, adults, and families through every stage of life.
In other words, together we continue to create a major impact. Together, we are Ability KC.